Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Relufe Review, a show where we review the Nigerian art, music, movies, and entertainment in general. You know, when you see me, it's another movie review, and like I always say, everything that I say here is based off on what I think about the movie. It's not based off on any standard or on any measures. My name is AY with the double O, and let's get straight to the movie that we have for today. Today's movie is titled Labake Olododo, and this is one Iyabo Ojo production, and I'll say that she's been off the radar for a while, even with acting, and it's good to see her come back, not just as an actor, but as a producer. And this is one movie that has gone really far, you know, with a lot of teasers here and there, and of course when the trailer dropped, I was really excited to see it, and it's a movie that is in the cinemas. Now, one thing I'll say about Labake Olododo is I really love the title. Now, Labake is a Yoruba name. Olododo means a truthful person. So I was hoping to see a movie with a truthful, lady, you know. I didn't know what to expect per se, but of course I'm hearing Labake Olododo, and I know it means Labake, the truthful one. So I'm expecting that she's probably going to be the truthful person in the movie, you know, and all of that. But it turns out that Labake is not who we thought Labake was. Labake is really not who the title portrayed her to be, but Labake is a good person, and that was what we saw with Labake Olododo. So they introduced us to Ilo Olugbo. Ilo Olugbo was in crisis, and they were neighboring village. It was a neighboring village to Labake's village, and Labake was a sort of a warlord, but more like under a private warlordship. You know, there's the warlord under the village, under the community, where they are under the Bashoro and all of that, but she seemed to be away from that, but she was a warlord in that village who had, you know, guards under her that were working for her, and when it's time, of course, to save our people, she always comes through. So the king had invited her to come and help Ilo Olugbo. That, okay, the Ilo Olugbo is in crisis, they've come to us for help, how are you going to help us, and all of that. And Labake at that point refused to intervene in that crisis, and we saw a lot of development come up after that refusal. You know, we're introduced to other things springing up as the king, the prince of that village, or Prince Adesho, decided, okay, if Labake is not going to help, we are going to fight this war, and he was killed. In that process, a lot of things began to unfold, things began to unravel, a lot of developments to Labake falling in love, and at the end of the day, the fact that she fell in love became a downfall, and that was what we saw with Labake Olododo. This is one beautiful production. I like that it's Yoruba, you know, set movie, though I do not particularly like the mixture of Yoruba and English. I would have preferred it to be purely Yoruba. It would have been more enjoyable, but overall it was still a beautiful movie. And of course, in the movie we saw veteran actors like Tayo Faniro, of course Iyabo Ojo herself, Wumi Toriola, Brother Shaggy, Femi Adebayo, Olumide Oworu, and a whole lot of, you know, top veteran actors as such, Ibrahim Chata, and it was star-studded. Trust me, it was star-studded. But overall, beyond the fact that it's a star-studded film, that is not the reason for the movie coming off as being a good movie. For the plot, I like the storyline, but I dislike the fact that they did not really give us before we were introduced into what the main story would be, we were an hour gone into that movie before we realize what's the trajectory of the movie, where it was directing us to. You know, it's like they carry me go where I don't know. Labake Olododo was first carrying us, trust me, to where I did not know, was carrying me away. And by the time I came back, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're supposed to see, you know, in this movie. From Labake refusing to help, from Labake becoming before we got the revelation that Labake was indeed the one that had been striking and killing and oppressing the people in Ilo Olugbo, to seeing Labake falling in love, to seeing Labake the savior now being the bad one, to now revealing that, oh, it was as a result of how her father was being killed that her mother had to, you know, put all of these powers, or give her all of this power so that she could stand for herself, fight for herself, and in turn fight those that eliminated our father. And that was what we saw, in the movie. To Labake being betrayed, we saw love, we saw betrayal, and of course love led to the downfall of Labake Olododo. A lot of things that her grandmother had told her not to do, a lot of things that were against the initiation of the powers that had been given to her, she went against them. And at the end of the day, it was giving more like a Samson vibe with the hair thing. I don't really know if for the costume, I don't really think the hair was working for me. It was supposed to be dreads, because the movie was screaming dada, wuru dada, but it wasn't giving that dread vibe. And I think it was rather a lot, on Labake's. She didn't wear that as much as Iyabo is a fantastic actor, do not get me wrong, but I think she didn't really wear that Labake personality. I think that because she produced it doesn't necessarily mean that she had to be the main character in the film. I think someone else would or could have played the role a bit better. Overall, for rating criteria, I'd give Labake Olododo a 7/10. It's a beautiful movie, but I would not overlook the flaws that are in the movie. For one, like I said earlier, I do not think that Labake wore that character. Iyabo Ojo rather wore the character of Labake Olododo so well. She didn't carry it with so much grace, poise, and all of that. Meanwhile, Tayo Faniro, on the other hand, I've seen Tayo in other movies and I'm like, what exactly is this guy doing? But with Labake Olododo, I think Tayo Faniro should stick to speaking Yoruba. He has that touch of the blend of Yoruba coming out from his mouth. I'm like, do not speak any other language again. Just stick to speaking Yoruba. It was so, he went deep into Yoruba. It sounded so clear, so crisp, and I can't put it to words, but Tayo, he bust my brain in this movie. And of course, Wunmi Toriola played the role of a teacher who was also in love with Tayo Faniro and all of that. He added that comic relief that we needed, to the movie and all of that. And towards the end of the movie, of course, a lot of revelations were made. But of course, this review contains no spoilers, so I'm not going to be spoiling the movie. But overall, Labake Olododo gets a 7/10 from this end. Now, let me know what you think about Labake Olododo if you have watched it. If you haven't watched Labake Olododo, please, it is 7/10 from Relufe TV, and that means what? It is a must watch. Go to the cinemas and go and watch Labake Olododo. It's something that everybody should taste from. It's like that fruit, like, oh, one taste that fruit. It's good. Labake Olododo is good. While it has its own flaws, while there are things that could have been better, while I would want to see, of course, a lot of good productions like this from Iyabo Ojo, and of course in a much better way, we would not overlook the fact that Labake Olododo is a beautiful movie and should be watched. Go and watch Labake Olododo, and trust me, it's something that you will love. It's something that you are going to enjoy. Let me know what you think about this in the comment box. Do not forget to like, do not forget to share, and of course subscribe if this is your first time here. Until I'll be gracing your screen again on another episode of Relufe Review. My name is AY with the double O.